very good evening to you all. So we're gonna get started now. Right. So today's flight will be from Lyon today to Innsbruck in the mountains. So it will be a very interesting approach. We shall see that. So flight time will be about an hour or something like that. So let's jump to the cockpit and let's get started. Hopefully we're all fine. Okay, so right. Oh. Where's my, okay, there it is. Alright, so we're in the cockpit now again. So this time it is at night. It does actually look better at night. So I just jumped into the cockpit recently, so I have not set up the aircraft totally into configuration yet, but I have entered the flight plan, so that is quicker, and I will be doing a little like tutorial or something like that, just to show how I learned the theory, because I have learned more theory on this A320 study guide. So this time a bit more, my knowledge is enriched. So let's say it's 2000. Now the lights are pretty bright in VR, so I have to put them down, but yeah. So fuel pumps on, and we turn this on as well. This is the cargo heat. Now on certain A320 models, when we click on the conditioner page, it does actually show it. So little explanation here. So you can see that, well, we have the cockpit temperature is 28 degrees, and that is the temperature indicator. So we have a valve here, but basically this shows if it is cold or hot, and there's a lot of theory behind it. So it is linked to the pneumatic system and also different components altogether. I'll go through that in more depth onto another video. Yeah, so far as we are concerned, we're concerned with flying the aircraft. So set this to low. Now we will have to put down the temperature here, because today in Lyon the current temperature is 32 degrees Celsius, so it is pretty warm. So let's set the correct time. It is 9:42. Now I've already set this up, so we're all ready to go. I already did a walk around of the aircraft as well, so this would speed things up. So now all we're waiting for is just for the engine start procedure, and we'll be off. So before anything else rolls out, I shall have to check, a very important component, just to check that this is all going well. Now you can see the lights have turned off. Right, okay, so I'm gonna have to fix my stream. So it's actually black right now, so oops. Okay, I'm gonna have to restart that. Oops. Hello, Jules. I just saw your message right now, so thank you very much for telling me that. Now should show, no? Alright, so now should show. Okay, hopefully this works. Okay, so Right, as I was saying, about the black screen, right, I was actually saying, just put it short, I was actually talking about the cabin temperature. So we have 29 degrees Celsius, and I was talking about the cold and hot air, and there's a hot air pressure valve, and also in the cargo smoke, as you can see, you can regulate the temperature. Now there's a bit more theory into that, but I'll go to that to another video. So we can start the APU if I just select my screen right now. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're just waiting for the APU bleed to start. So this is the EGT, stands for exhaust gas temperature. So now the flap is open. So now we can start the APU, the auxiliary power unit. So we're just going to wait for that. And yeah, I was saying that I also already set up the flight plan as well. So we have technical issues here, but yeah. So we're just waiting for that. Okay, it's 100%, so now it is available. We can select APU bleed. Now we disconnect all the components. So we are flying with 50 passengers on board today. That is another reason why I had the cockpit door closed. Now let us do the before start checklist. So it would help if I had a bit of lighting here. Okay, so cockpit preparation completed, gear pins and covers removed, signs auto, adhers. So adhers, if you guys are wondering, air data inertial reference system. Now fuel quantity 5,860 kilograms. Takeoff data set, yep, and windows and doors closed and beacon on, mobile phones off, thrust levers to idle position, and parking brake is set. Alright, before start checklist completed. Now let's go ahead and start engines now. Yeah, set this to manage. Okay, lock the cockpit door. Now as you can see the bleed air. Now I do have to check something, give me a second here. 36 psi. Okay, yeah. So engine number 1 start. Now there's a Boeing actually, and there's a Boeing aircraft 737 in front of us, which is gonna probably take off. So we set the ATC. Here the engine spool up here. Alright, all set. Engine number 2, start. Now we'll go into the systems more in another video in more in depth on how they work, because I have enriched my knowledge on those, because I actually know how everything works, especially on this page, because I actually found this page really confusing, but then I understood how it worked on the manual. So yeah. Alright, I think, yeah, engine number 2 is available. Turn off bleed. So spoilers armed, flaps 1. Now 1F stands for it's just that, like, when we set the flaps down, well, you can have configuration 1. However, there is a bit of kind of like droop on the flaps when you set them down. Just for performance wise, it actually helps the performance wise and lift and stuff for the aircraft. That's why we have this config 1+F. Yeah. Now auto brake max. Now before we do the test, we're going to do a flight control check. So full up, full down, full left, full right, rudder full left, full right, neutral. Now we set the trim 0.1, okay. 1.1, okay. Trim is set. Okay, flight control check. Now, after start checklist, anti-ice off, ECAM status checked, set normal. Pitch trim 1.1 up, 1.1, and rudder trim set to 0. And after start checklist completed. So let's get rolling. Taxi lights on, park brake off, apply bear thrust. See the Boeing 737 taking off right now. Here we go. We're pretty light today, actually. We're not that heavy. Okay, we can add a bit more thrust here. Okay, APU can come off. Now, in some operations we can use the APU during flight. If ever there's some abnormalities, we can use the APU in that case. Okay, so we're just gonna carry out the before takeoff checklist very shortly, and we'll be off. I'm just switching the radios here so that we get the in-flight radio basically. Okay. Gone. Alright, before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff, flight controls checked. Flight instruments checked. Briefing confirmed. Flap setting config 1. FMA and takeoff data. So V121, V rotate 121, V2 125, and flex temperature 69, and transponder set to EA above, and CAS, yeah, and engine mode selector set as normal, and PAX. Do a PAX off takeoff, and and cabin secured for takeoff. Yes. Okay, so before takeoff, checklist completed. Right, let's go. And I was gonna talk about why we set sometimes the packs off. Well, reason being is that turn off the packs actually increases engine performance. So it can be used in the case of short runway, or if you want to do toga and just want to have the maximum aircraft performance. So yeah. So lights on. Oops. Okay. 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 Takeoff. Chrono. %. Manflex 69. SRS runway. Auto thrust blue. Thrust set. A knots. 400. V1. Rotate. Gear up. Autopilot 2. Cross check. Set. So what we're gonna do is that we are going to we're gonna direct to LC. So direct to this. Here we go. Just as a quicker way to do that. So thrust climb, flaps 1. Thrust climb SRS runway, auto thrust blue. So runway turn off lights, off packs, on. You can see the moon rise in the distance there. We're passing flight level 4,500. Set cruise altitude 18,000 feet. We are flying up pretty low today, actually. So transition altitude. Okay, standard set. Alright, so now we can do the after takeoff checklist. At takeoff, landing gear is up, flaps retracted, bear reference standard set. After takeoff checklist completed. So this is the time, so we count since X-plane, for some reason X-plane doesn't really register the correct time, so I have to count 2 hours. So this means, right, we're gonna arrive at 10:43. Technically, and it's a weird way of counting, but that's how I see the arrival time in real life. Basically, it's a bit off, but yeah, I do not know why. So, landing lights off and off. Now, normally on the aircraft, when we land, those lights right there, the landing lights on, like I shall explain that in another video, but basically under the wing you have it basically deploys itself and it gives a really bright light which illuminates the runways and the terrain in front of you, basically. Like on a separate video I shall explain that. In the meantime, I'm gonna check the weather in Innsbruck to check if it is okay. So we select Lima Oscar Whiskey India. So it's a QNH of 1020. Weather is 7 knots, or it's direction of 70 and 7 knots, so it's not that strong, so it's alright. Perfectly safe to land. So I just have to edit the temperatures here. Oh, yeah, transition notes, yep. Okay. Okay. Pretty cool to see that view of the moon in front of us. That's really cool. I never had that before. So as soon as we reach cruise altitude, we're going to check all the systems for any errors or any abnormalities. Usually the approach in Innsbruck is done at day normally, so that we can see the mountains, but at night it's a bit more difficult to land normally. So yeah, I think in real life it's only for experienced pilots that they can do that. We're hitting our cruise altitude, 18,000 feet. So okay, so we could set the seat belts off. Ah, okay, now that's very interesting. Okay, so before on the flight factor, when I looked, right, they did not add this temperature here, but yeah, this is pretty new to me. But since we're flying the company route, well, it could be different, but I did not see this option before. Now, right, as I said, on the cruise we're going to check all the systems. So let's first check the engine page. So this is the total fuel used by both engines. This is the oil quantity. This is the pressure. Now this is normally the pressure in the engine combustion chamber normally, and the temperatures as well. And the vibrations are normal to me on N1 and N2. Now N1 is basically the primary fan, and N2 is the high. It's if you imagine an engine, you have the first fan, which is the N1, and the N2 is basically the smaller one, which is part of the compressor basically. So yeah, that's that. So everything seems to be normal to me on both engines. Bleed, this is normal as well. Now if there are any abnormalities on this page, you would see an amber light. Now you see that everything is in the green, so nothing is there to worry. Nothing is there to worry. Also the valves are closed as well, so that's normal. And everything seems to be in the green. And the temperatures seem to be normal as well, because it's I think it's in the range of 200 degrees Celsius, so that's perfectly normal. But the pressure page, cabin pressure, no. This is normal as well. This is supposed to be like that, and this is normal. And pack 1, pack 2, yep, everything in the green, no. Electrical page now, batteries. So everything seems to be normal. There's no discharges, there's no amber lights appearing or any abnormalities. Generators are good. Yep, now this is normal. This is very important because this is all the way up in the cockpit, right? Right here. The integrated, integrated digital driven engine generator. Basically, now this powers the generator 2, and this powers the AC bus 2 and AC bus and the DC bus 2, basically. Now I'll cover all this in a separate video, but yeah. So everything seems to be in the green and normal. Now hydraulics. Hydraulics is good. So 3000 psi. This is good. It's supposed to be in that, within that range. P2 rat, yeah, and pumps are all green, which is good. And the hydraulic quantity fluid is in the green zone, so that is good. Everything normal. Now the fuel. Now fuel is normal. Now the tank's temperature is in the green, and it is good. The maximum temperature is, I think it's 45 degrees, something like that Celsius, so it's alright. The fuel is alright. So, and also you can see that there's an imbalance, about 100 kilograms of fuel, a bit more, but yeah, that's alright. As long as it does not exceed 1,500 kilograms of fuel, then it is okay. We do not need to turn on the X feed and transfer fuel from one tank to the other. So yeah, and there are no abnormalities, so we do not need to worry. Now on the outer tanks, now this is perfectly normal. The quantity of fuel is kind of like locked in a way, unless if the fuel goes below 750 kilograms, basically, I believe. I think that's it. So the outer tanks start feeding, and they can only be refilled on ground. So there's actually a valve in there which opens up, and they cannot be closed during flight, basically. So yeah, that's that. Now the APU is supposed to be off, yeah. Now the conditioner page, conditioner page. So everything seems to be normal and no abnormalities. Now if there was an abnormality, normally it will show an amber color on one of the components which is affected. So nothing seems to be showing up here, so everything is in the green, and also the valves are good. Yep, everything seems to be normal to me. Cruise page, now this is important, so we have enough cockpit oxygen as well as the cabin oxygen as well. Now the wheels, yeah, now this is right. And the flight controls, now this is very important as well. But it's mostly the hydraulics which we have to check regularly on the basis of 1 hour. Every hour we check. I would check, basically. So because the reason why is because if one of them fails, well, it will affect those components right here. And as you can see, everyone is backed up by one hydraulic. Basically you have blue, green, yellow. and yeah, you can see which ones are effective, one of them fails. So everything is good, so we are all right. Okay, so the systems check is done, so now we just have to wait until we pass the next threshold on our flight plan. So we turn on those as well. Voila. We still have a while to go, so sit tight and relax. Turn on the lights in the cockpit a bit so you can see. Now the weather does seem to be pretty clear actually. Doesn't be any clouds or anything like that, so it's pretty cool. Now I will be making maybe another video on the 321 this time, but we might go to London Heathrow this time, so that will be interesting since the weather is very different in England than it is in France or anything like that, so it'll be pretty interesting, it'll be pretty cool. So we can actually see the descent right in front of us there. So yeah, it's about in the range of 140 nautical miles, I'd say, the descent. Top of descent. Normally when it's day you would be able to see all the mountains down there with the snow and everything. Yeah. What is UTC? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I was just checking the time and also the fuel on board when we land, because this is very important, because as you guys can see right here, the empty fuel on board. Now this is after the engines are shut down, after we've done our landing and everything. This is how much fuel we're going to be left with. So I'm just monitoring that, just in case there's any errors. And in case there is, well, we're gonna have to divert, maybe, if this value gets too low. And one thing I want to mention on our approach is that we're going to have to select a special setting where we're going to have to turn off the glide slope, you see on the EGPWS, so the ground proximity warning system basically. so that we don't get the glide slope and stuff like that when we arrive. And normally you would have a amber warning system right here telling you that you're in glide slope, you're below the glide slope. So yeah. This is an indication of the weather and terrain as well. And we usually control this via the controls right here. Now, one thing, since the TOLUS, since the flight factor, well, the developers of this aircraft, they haven't really implemented that function yet. Still in development, well, it doesn't really work that well compared to TOLUS, so one thing that they might have to fix. But however, it's a wonderful aircraft though. Yeah, it's just the weather system doesn't quite work on the flight factor yet, but it will probably come in future updates. But yeah, now I can see there's a flight plan endpoint which I have to clear here. Discontinuities. Now what this would do, right, is that it will link the part which is missing, because right before there's a part of our flight plan which was kind of cut off or something, so I'm just linking it back again. Now we are 163 nautical miles away from the airport, which is not far at all. Right, nearing the 30-minute marker. Once you hit 30 minutes, I'm just gonna check the hydraulic system again, just to double check on the system so that no errors are present. Just double checking so that yeah, we have 0 errors. Normally to be every hour, but this time I want to double check a bit more. As you can see, Innsbruck is showing on our primary flight display. So I do have to check one thing though, which I'm just going to check the modes here. Okay, everything makes sense. Okay, we said it's the 8 knot mode, so that would just properly. But yeah, the fuel in kilograms an hour, just checking right now, it does seem quite a lot actually, but for the A320 actually specifically, it's 2,400 kilograms of fuel an hour basically for an Airbus plane. But it depends of all the conditions, of course. But usually it is that. Turn a bit more, I think next. I mean, it is very strange for me to fly at this altitude because I usually do not fly at 18,000 feet. I usually fly normally since normally the approach in Innsbruck I was expecting at least 25,000 feet at least to go over the mountains, but apparently it's setting 18,000 feet, which we will see. But I was a bit surprised at this low altitude, but it does reduce the fuel consumption as well for the engines as we are at lower altitude. But yeah, so we can see the top descent appear in the 80 nautical mile range, so we know that we're pretty close to approaching. And I think that this is one of my favorite approaches ever, the Innsbruck one. So we can see, I can see in the far distance the mountains already starting to appear higher and higher. This is because of the moon reflection, of course. I don't really know if it appears on the stream, but I can actually see the mountain hilltops, which is pretty cool. I was 23, yeah. Yeah, so we're actually gonna ride in about 21 minutes. Descend in about 21 minutes, sorry. So we're already at the 108 nautical mile landmark, so it is pretty close. On the next video, maybe maybe on next video, maybe in future videos, we'll be doing we'll be flying to one location and then picking up passengers from that location and then going back to our original location. So 2 flights, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, we'll be doing separate videos explaining all the systems and how they work. So yeah. And this approach specifically is very special because we get to drop the gear down earlier than we would normally do. Now there's some visibility. I think the visibility is a bit lower than I expected it to be, so we shall see how that is, but it won't be any issue for this approach anyways. So I already checked the weather thoroughly on the charts, and I do not think it will be that much of an issue. Also, one thing that you guys may have wondered, if you guys look closely, was that when I took off, I actually set the CAS to above, basically option above now, and this is because primarily the reason being is that, well, if I'm taking off, I want to see any potential aircrafts above me, and when I land, well, I'm gonna set it to down so I can see who is below me, so I can see if there are any potential aircrafts, of course. But yeah, it's just a thing that I wanted to point out. Now already we can already see the values already. Can't quite make it in the stream, but I can see the valley straight down there, so it's going to be an interesting approach to the valley. Now we'll be doing a flight during the day as well, so that we can see the scenery a bit better than at night, of course. So I'll be shortly starting my descent, very shortly, in about 38 nautical miles, so it should be pretty quick. Now it is pretty dark, I think on the stream, so I mean, what I'm seeing is a bit lighter, but on the stream it's very dark, I think. So I mean, you can sort of make out the mountain tops at the moment, and we can see that we're gonna ride straight on the runway. Well, not necessarily straight, but we're gonna have to turn off the autopilot, and you guys will see when I prepare myself for this approach. So it's 30 and we arrive in 14 minutes, just about 15 now, but yeah, 14 minutes. So we're gonna switch it to 40 nautical miles now, so I can see the navigation system a bit better. Yeah, not that high. And we'll be switching off the lights right now so that I can see so I can actually focus on the runway a bit better. It's a thing that all pilots do. So when we get to the stage where we drop the landing gear, I'm gonna turn the lights, the floodlights off to dim, so that we only get those lights on, so that we can focus straight on the runway, basically. Now, almost there, so about 61 nautical miles. Okay, we're very close. Oh. As we descend, we're shortly seeing a green dot, basically. Yes, so you can sort of make out the mountains up here. I do have a feeling that we are kind of low, that's the thing, so I do not want to descend yet. I do not know, but I do not like that feeling of being too low. I'm low in the dark, I can't really see that well, but yeah, I'll have to see. What we'll do is that we'll increase our, hang on, not yet, but we'll see. But what is it? Easy? Well, okay, so maybe it's just a reflection of the moon, maybe, but yeah. Yeah, I think we're alright, I think we are okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be fine. So, now, what is it? 18,000 feet. So yeah, we're just passing yeah, it's time to decelerate. I can actually see the valley now. I can see the valley in which we're going, so okay, that's just fine. So thrust idle. We set it to 10,000 feet. Now, yeah, you can see the green dot has decreased. Now this is the altitude in which the aircraft is gonna not predict, but tell me when I'm gonna reach, basically. So we set 10,000 feet, and we select auto brake to medium. This is a pretty short runway, and we turn on the seatbelt sign. I do not want to have a too steep approach, but yeah. Okay, so now we will have to manually fly this because this is in the valley. This is a pretty special approach. So select slope off. Okay. Now, as you can see in the dark, well, don't really know if you guys can see on the stream, but there's a lot of mountains and a lot of hills, so we have to navigate our way through that. So we select approach phase activated. Now, spoilers. It's asking for more drag, which is alright. Select this. Wants me to select ILS, okay. That. So we select heading, manual heading here. Because we do not want to head straight to the valley, do we? So select manual heading. Okay, now (2000). Okay, so we're gonna turn off all the pilots. What we're gonna do is you can see the airport right there, right? So we do have a limited amount of time here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold up the altitude. Okay, flaps 1. Oh, flaps 1. Now flaps 1, we're going to select gear down. To create more drag. Now this is set. Okay. Now, whoa, okay. I really hope that this thing, circle slows down. Okay, so select flaps 3. Actually, we're going to select flaps 3 today. Okay, flaps 2. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot more drag here. Okay, so approach briefing set ECAM status checked, seatbelts on, bear reference. So yeah, bear reference. Come on. For 20, okay, and engine mode selector in normal, and MD&DH 5100, and landing checklist cam crew secured, all thrust set, go around altitude 10,000. ECAM memo no blue, landing no blue, and cam crew is secured. Okay. So we're just gonna push ourselves down a bit more now. Nope, there's a bit of lag here, so yeah, we're gonna manage it. It's fine. So as you guys can see, this approach is pretty difficult a bit, since if you do not descend the right time, well, you can find yourself in a sticky situation where you have to go around because you won't have enough drag to slow down basically the aircraft. This time it was alright, but yeah, next time I would have to descend earlier. So we turn off this, spoiler is armed, so I can see the runway a bit better, and you can see the screens better as well, so that you just have to do a quick swipe with your eyes. Now that we've reached our designated altitude, no, flaps 3 actually, flaps 2, 3, there you go, here we go.
100 above, 2,500 minimum.
Yep. Actually, changed my mind here. We're actually gonna select the flaps full landing so that it's a bit easier to manage here. So yeah, that I should have not done, but yeah, it's alright. So as you can see, well, you can just see the mountains right there, and the mountains right there, you know. So we do have to be careful not to scrape the wings on the mountain top. Now our speed is perfect, so the reason why this is yellow is because we're below sea level. So as we can see the runway in sight right here. So we are going to continue straight along the hillside, and then we're going to do a sharp turn basically, and then we're going to land straight on the runway. As you can see all the houses down there. I don't know if you guys can see here, but see them all the way down there. This is Innsbruck. Runway in sight. Okay, critical moment now, so I have to concentrate. Check, stable.
500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, retard, 5.
First screen, spoilers. $70 knots, 60 knots. Right, manual braking. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Innsbruck. Alright. Yeah, there's a bit of a lag spike there, but yeah. Anyway. So we can turn off the lights here. Aircraft is going to slowly taxi itself. So spoilers retracted. There you go, we can turn it back on. Lights. Now I do need to have the light on here. But the landing is very, very good though. That was very good because when I flared, like, it was perfect. It was perfect. Really, it was really good. So we can turn on the PU now. Turn off the lights so that we don't blind anyone. And anyone sitting in the lobbies or anything like that, since those lights are very, very bright and powerful. Right. Okay, we can start this. So we turn this off here. Alright. 52 minutes. Turn chrono off. There we go. Flaps 0. Alright. We're gonna park at this gate right here. Okay, APU is on. Alright, park brake on, and engine number 1 and 2 shut down. Alright, we're here, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to Innsbruck. So, now we turn on the APU. So now we turn on the fuel pumps off. Right, turn this off here. Beacon off, and let's carry out the parking checklist. So, parking checklist. APU bleed is on. Yellow hydraulic pump off, Engines, parking all engines off, seat belts off, exterior lights as required, yeah. Fuel pumps off, and parking brake and chocks are set. Just parking brake, but chokes. Put on chokes. Packs. We're gonna turn on the. Okay, it's alright. Parking transponder set to standby. The gas off, and we can let the passengers board off. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time on the next adventure. And next adventure will probably be on the A321 or maybe on the 319, depending on what we do, depending on the weather and depending on the conditions as well. And yeah, see you guys in the next adventure. Bye bye.